So wrong.
What?
So wrong.
It's recording tonight. It's another big time Drankster Fake to the Booger Nose Productions
Big time
presentation
DF to the
of-
B.
That's right. A Rolling with Joe adjacent materials. We got the bearded baritone. We got Ben Loves Stalin, and we've got Ben himself enjoying watching the embodiment of his loves for Stalin. Is it Stalin?
Stalin? Yeah, no, Stalin.
Not Stalin's.
Yeah,
Pretty
Stalin.
clever. Good one.
Yeah.
Good one. If you don't watch this on
hero.
YouTube, which is the only place you can watch it, then you're missing the joke. But what was my quote? I almost forgot it. Oh, shit, guys. It's from the doc. Nah, that was my backup. I had another one. We're going to do Back to the Future.
Wait, how is it not?
You got that.
Wait, what does he say? Doc, what does he say?
Scott?
Great Scott. Yeah, how is it not Great Scott? I thought it was going to be Great Scott. That was what I had my finger
so obvious. Oh, I remember now. Hilldale, nothing but a breeding ground for Tranks, Lobos, and Zipheads. I really like that line. That lady's been in a lot of stuff too.
Oh, damn. No, that's the hall monitor from number 1. Never mind.
Strickland?
Yeah, Strickland.
You're a slacker.
You're a slacker.
All right, but we're not talking about number 1 or number 3 at all tonight.
Yeah, whatever.
No, just kidding. I'm sure we'll talk about all 3. Why would you talk about number 2?
I should have just done the whole trilogy. That would have been the right move.
It probably would have been, but I didn't really have the time for it. COVID has struck again all around me, so my time's pretty limited for Russ, did you watch all 3 movies? I thought you said you did. No, take your time.
Totally lagging.
Jesus, dead air.
And I only watched the second movie. Now I'm a little laggy, so I thought that would be funny, but I did not watch all 3 movies. I recently watched the first one, like several months ago, and that's why I wanted to watch this one. Plus, I just really wanted to talk about life in 2015 in comparison to what this movie thought it would be.
Absolutely, yeah. It's pretty funny the stuff that they got wrong. I actually mentioned it earlier, but it was something I planned to say during the show, so you're getting a taste of it. Cell phones, like not even close to a thing. What a crazy thing to be way off the mark on is that they're going to have like video phones, but they're in your home. They're part of your TV, and TVs are still projection.
Yeah, but at that point, wireless communication wasn't even a thing. Like in 85 and 89, when these movies were released, even the third movie in 90, cell phones weren't even haven't even been created yet.
I know, but
they were still
concept
like
of a cell phone being developed.
Technology.
Right.
I really liked how in the movie they tried to portray that everyone just does this information overload now by saying like, put on 12 channels at once and I'll watch them. And they got it right, but not the right way.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Like the concept
I love
was
that
there.
as well. I thought this is pretty close.
The overall the platform that it's delivered in wasn't accurate, but the concept was intact.
The other thing that I saw that did the same thing was like when they go into the restaurant, or when Marty goes into the restaurant and the TV just starts yelling at him to place his order. It's like they were trying to say human interaction is going away. And yes, we just order shit on
Nailed
Uber
it. Yeah, leave it at my door.
But who remembers Max Headroom? I mean, that's
way ahead of its time.
That's all those that little order taking thing was based 100% off Max Headroom. Like that was a cameo.
Yeah. No, that show was way ahead of its time. Speaking of being ahead of your time.
You don't know what Max Headroom is?
I don't think so.
Are you serious?
Fantastic, dude. That's fantastic. Oh, I would believe it. I would believe it. It was a microcosm in popular culture.
It was that people loved. Remember Sledgehammer? The guy with the huge gun. I used to love that show when I was a young kid. It was so fucking funny.
I just watched it.
Anyway, enough about 1983 TV.
I just Googled it, and I can confirm that people from my generation do not know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, it was a little blip.
Fair enough. Yeah,
just a quick little thing where it's like, have you seen this show? It's crazy.
Hey, Ben, giving us the double.
Hey, Russ, give us a rating and a grading. I can't wait to hear it.
Dude, I don't even know with this movie. I really wanted to go last so I could hear your ratings. I really enjoyed it.
Joe's gonna give it an A+.
You know, I've watched it. I don't think it has the nostalgia for me that it might for you guys, just because it wasn't necessarily my generation, but it was like close enough to it that people talked about it. So I watched it probably a little too late. So it was never as good as it should have been for me. The whole series. That said, it's pretty fun, and it's totally silly, and in a way where I don't hate it. And I hate a lot of silly movies. So I'm going to give it a B-. I think the first one's better, but I wanted to watch this one more.
Joe,
fair.
What do you got?
I mean, I got lots and lots and lots to say about the Back to the Future franchise as a sci-fi fan. This is probably the most generally digestible presentation of alternate timelines and time travel and paradox that's ever been produced. They really present it in a way that is absolutely digestible to even a layman who has no backgrounds of what time travel might be or how it plays out, and they do it in a fun and engaging way. I mean, you know, it's an A. I think a lot of it stood the test of time. There's a lot of the effects and stuff that even now, with it being 40 years old, 35 years old, 37 something years old, still enjoyable to watch. The fact that it's a time travel movie keeps it from being exceptionally dated, because it's a concept movie. I like it. I think the franchise itself as a whole is I think it's better digested as a whole. If you're gonna watch it from 1 to 3. As a standalone movie, they don't really hold up, you know, because this is probably the most seamless transition of any franchise I've ever seen. From 1 to 2 to 3.
I mean, yeah, they recorded 2 and 3 at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I felt so. All right. 1989, this movie comes out. I see it in the theaters because I have a strong memory of number one, when it had come out. My brother and I had gone to see, I don't even remember what movie, but then right after, over at where what's now a 24-hour fitness in Fairfield, he was like, let's sneak into Back to the Future. And it literally was the end scene, which was him coming out to look at the truck and all of that, which they reshot for this movie to put Elizabeth Shue in it. So it was really a neat matchup to go to the theaters and have it pick up that way. And then at the time, I remember thinking like, well, I guess things can't be as good as the originals. But it got better. And definitely to this day, 1985 alternate Leah Thompson is definitely my favorite Leah Thompson. But in formative years. I watched it, and
this has been Starship Troopers moment.
Pretty much. This the trip to the future in the beginning until they get to the family home, I find I can just I don't enjoy that portion of it as much. But once they get to the family home and Michael J. Fox comes down in drag as his own daughter and does the scene where he's real close to the camera, dude, that's so funny that's him. He looks so fucking flawless in that makeup.
All the characters that he plays in that home for that whole scene are pretty cool. And like, one of the things this movie does is the just too silly old school stuff that, like I said, it normally just irks me and I find it stupid and I don't think it generally holds up well. But with this movie, I'm watching it and it's like, especially when he plays her, and I was like, she looks familiar. Who is she? And I Googled it and it's like Michael J. Fox. And I was like, no, wait a minute. And
yeah.
I rewinded
it. Talk about a treasure. Michael J. Fox was a fucking treasure.
Oh,
He's a national treasure.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I definitely think the number one is the best of the franchise. I would give this one, honestly, for a lot of its missteps, I would honestly give it probably a C+. It has some wonderful moments. It's definitely you should see it if you're going to watch the franchise, but it's not like, I don't know. I'd rather tell somebody to watch number one because the story is so well put together. I remember leaving this one and actually thinking like, I just got tricked into watching a 90-minute commercial. Like, where's the movie that's supposed to be after this one? Coming out of the theater as a kid, I was like,
they tried to bite off a lot in this movie. I think the biggest thing the biggest mistake that they made was they just tried to cover too much. Like, really, it should have been like, one back and forth.
As like the person who doesn't have the nostalgia to go with it, like there's no reason for me to watch this movie other than is it entertaining or not. And when I look at number one and number two, I have more fun watching number two, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like number one has a little too much plot for me. Plot that's like trying to develop itself and be something, whereas this movie is just like, let's get into the silliness. Let's just do it. And the silliness works, even though it is kind of stupid. And so I find this movie to be more fun than the first movie, even
because the first movie is hardcore rooted in the science. Like, I mean, that's what because I watched number one before I watched number two. I bought the bundle and got all three movies and haven't watched number three yet. Although I feel like number three is the one that I wanted to watch, but number one, as I was watching it, I was like, God damn, dude, they just the brilliant way that they have set up such a incredibly complex and hotly debated subject in science fiction to make it
and they had Huey Lewis in the news,
right? To make
that is pretty sick, yeah.
To make it palatable and easily digestible. I'm going to use that a lot in this. This is probably how many easily digestibles have I gotten here? What's the ED rating on this one? Wait, don't do that.
Hey-o.
I really liked it. The whole franchise. I actually wanted to postulate, would Fringe exist without Back to the Future laying the groundwork? Like, how much of the science fiction that we take for granted did Back to the Future pave the way for?
Right. I mean, so The Time Machine by E.H. Wells, right? Anyway, that's written, quite a while ago, but definitely doesn't have the paradox or anything like that. It's just evolution. That's the whole linchpin there. But yeah, this movie kind of brought it to the masses. Carl Sagan had said that it was one of the most easily digestible for the masses representation.
ED rating.
Damn it.
Boom.
That's right.
I actually,
this movie definitely, I mean, Fringe borrows from a lot of really cool stuff, and I think created a lot of really cool stuff too. But
so who's better, Walternate or Doc?
I mean, I don't know. I got a soft spot for Walternate, but I've known Doc much longer.
Walternate?
Jesus Christ, you fucking
you
rookie.
Fringe?
You fucking rookie.
Jesus. What are we even doing here?
It's like watching movies with my brother's kids.
I sarcastically wrote at one point that the special effects in this movie are amazing. And then how it paved the way for Jurassic Park. I thought that was a pretty funny joke I told myself. I felt like the old people makeup was probably the best special effects in the movie. In fact, do you realize that Crispin Glover actually refused to reprise his role? There's a whole little tidbit about it. The negotiations went awry, but that's not even Crispin Glover upside down in the anti-gravity machine floating around. That's a dude wearing prosthetics pretending to be George McFly.
Nice. No, I didn't realize that.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's not in this movie. They used trickery.
He wanted a bunch of money or something?
He wanted a bunch of money and to be able to have final script approval. And they said, give me a fucking break. He says that
we're gonna make you upside down and throw some fucking makeup on this guy and nobody will know the difference. We'll
make you look extra stupid and then it'll be okay.
He says that they were gonna pay him less than they were gonna pay Leah Thompson, and that they really were upset because he had spoken out against the end of the first movie, showcasing that Marty McFly's parents really felt that material wealth was happiness and that there could have been a better message there. And they're like, shut the fuck up. Who are you? So then when, he came around, that he was like, no, I want more money.
He's the one who freaking pursues the material wealth. Whatever, dude. That's not the message I took at all from the ending of the first one. It was a matter of proceeding confidently through your life.
So it's pretty glanced over.
Yeah, but whatever. We're not talking about number one, but it rolls over into
Let's
number two.
Let's get into the shit and talk about number two.
Elijah Wood's first movie.
It sure is. And I didn't even realize it to look for him as one of those two kids. I always wanted those
skateboard kids.
No, the two kids at the video game who say that it's like a baby story. One of those kids is Elijah Wood.
Holy shit. I mean,
they're so young you wouldn't recognize him.
No.
Holy
he doesn't look like a little bastard yet. But hey, you know who's cool to recognize in this is Billy Zane as Matches, one of Biff's crew. I find it really funny that there's Billy Zane.
Dude, that guy's Frodo Baggins. That's messed up.
Even Billy Gandalf Zane calls him a little bastard.
No, so wait, was Billy Zane the one wearing the hat? I think he was.
Yeah, who's always got a match in his mouth.
Yeah.
And then 3D, that dude, I always remember him from Stand By Me. He plays one of Ace's gang members in Stand By Me. The guy who wears the 3D glasses.
Nice.
I feel like that's a preamble to just move right into talking about the writers, actors, and the director. Once again, writers and directors, same guys.
Ben wants to get the wad out.
Bob Gale, and Robert Zemeckis. Of course, Robert Zemeckis responsible for some of the best movies of my childhood.
Interesting little side note here on Robert Zemeckis. He owns all of the rights to this franchise and has specifically stated that there will never be a reboot. never be a remake. Spider-Man.
Interesting fact about Robert Zemeckis. He wanted the car to be a Ford Mustang, but everybody else thought that looked too cliche and normal, and they wanted to go with something a little more different.
I love the DeLorean.
Interesting fact about Robert Zemeckis. He is a Jew.
Hey. Is that interesting?
Well, what about the DeLorean?
That's just a fact.
That's a fact. I'm just throwing out facts. I thought we were doing facts.
I love the DeLorean.
I don't know if he's actually Jewish.
I think it's an incredible visual. When the DeLorean came out, it was so ahead of its time. The DeLorean Motor Company was an incredibly entrepreneurial and tragic story. To have an entirely stainless steel car that would never rust. I mean, like who does that? You're pissing in the fucking wind of engineered obsolescence. Like, why would you do that?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, not even thinking about how much aluminum is actually available.
Yeah, have you ever tried to buy a stainless steel screw?
Yeah.
But the cars,
come on, man,
iconic. And I didn't look into it before we recorded the show, but like, this is this is the most recognized version of the DeLorean Motor Company. Like, without Back to the Time Machine version. Oh yeah, I mean, without Back to the Future, DeLorean would have probably been just a footnote in the motor vehicle industry. And
also,
the effects of cocaine around the world.
Fun fact, they base part of the Mandalorian costume on the DeLorean stainless steel
because he's a man DeLorean.
Well, yeah, but just the whole can't rust, impervious to all my fun facts
erroneous
have been made up. They're all made
erroneous on both counts. So when I Googled it, it said it was the third highest grossing film of 89, but then Box Office Mojo says it's 10th.
Interesting.
So who can I believe on the internet if I can't find one concise answer? The internet's never let me astray before, but
the internet is always right. So it must have been the third and the 10th.
Oh,
Lethal Weapon #2 was the third.
That's what I hear, because Batman was #1. Thank you, Michael Keaton. And then it was Iron Man 3 was #2.
No,
it was Indiana Jones 3. Just kidding. Just kidding, guys. Calm down. Whoo! Elizabeth Shue. Let's get into the A.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was #5. Beat this movie.
Yeah,
hey, that's a great movie.
Yeah,
I've seen that movie so many fucking times in the theater as a kid, dude. Oh my god!
I went on the ride at Disneyland.
Yeah. Jesus, that movie.
I used to think those cookies were good because of that movie. Dude, they make them look so good, and then you try them, and they're fucking shitty.
They're horrible.
That's to 2 Noel Bueno. Elizabeth Shue, they bring her in, closing out the franchise. You never realize it unless you look into things, but she was actually the third actress to play Jennifer. Everybody thinks she was just the second, but there was a time before Michael J. Fox was even attached to the project where they've got footage of Eric Stoltz in the role of Marty McFly.
Oh, wow.
Do you guys know this?
I did not know.
You don't know this?
Wow.
There's a famous little bit of history about this movie. And the Jennifer that was cast while Eric Stoltz was Marty McFly was Melora Hardin, none other than Jan Levinson Gould from The Office.
Jan Levinson Gould, really?
Yep. First actress to play Jennifer, only while Eric Stoltz was involved. And then they said, cut the whole thing. We got to get rid of Stoltz. He's just not giving us It was more like a Scooby-Doo episode with him instead of like the cool, fun.
I can see that. I mean, I'm a huge Eric Stoltz fan, but I mean,
agreed.
But Michael J. Fox, man. I mean,
when you think Eric Stoltz, what's the first movie that comes to mind?
I mean, Pulp Fiction, unfortunately, but I got a lot of other ones in there. The Prophecy.
That's the one I was trying
Anaconda.
to remember. I wanted to say Preacher, but it's Prophecy is the one.
Prophecy.
Yeah.
To me, it's Anaconda. He gets J-Lo in that movie, and
really,
he's the one who gets the pen in the throat because they snuck a wasp into his breathing tank. That's some messed up shit.
That's some crazy messed up shit.
I mean, Anaconda
Eric
sucked,
Stoltz not appearing in this movie, but let's talk about Michael J. Fox. Here's somebody we've never talked about. Russ, what does Michael J. Fox mean to you? What do you think of if it's not this movie? What's the other one?
I mean, if it's not this movie, I think of Huey Lewis in the News.
For Michael J. Fox? Dude, I grew up with this guy. This is like the nice version of Jason Bateman to me. Dude, Alex P. Keaton, bro, it cannot be understated that if you grew up in the 80s and watched TV, you watched Family Ties, where he was a mega fucking star.
Family Ties, yeah, absolutely. Probably
absolute
would be my
fucking mega star. Oddly enough,
really
Jason Bateman's sister, Justine Bateman, was on there.
I mean, Family Ties was not a big movie.
Oh, The Secret of My Success.
Yeah, right. I got that written down, bro.
Oh my God, dude.
That whole series of movies that came around that time.
So fucking
Hell
good.
Yeah. Watch that. Dude, that was one of the HBO movies where it was on HBO and I used to watch for when the next time it was going to be on.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that movie at least 20 times.
Dude.
At least.
Epic. I would credit that movie a lot to my entrepreneurial spirit.
Oddly enough, I can honestly see that. That guy was shiking and jumping.
I would absolutely. Yeah. No, that Michael J. Fox is huge, dude.
Dude, Doc Hollywood, really? Right?
I mean, he after your era, he kind of didn't do big things. Like in my
Spin
era,
City was one of the biggest fucking TV programs for a decade. Michael J. Fox had a stellar career.
I don't know. For me, I guess it was Stuart Little.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair.
That's
not a bad role, but fair. Shows
it's crazy that people have that line, right? That line of just you're not going to watch these movies so much, but then you do that one role where 5-6 years and it's a completely different mindset for who this guy is. I remember
his role in Rescue Me. His cameos on Rescue Me.
No, who was he on Rescue Me? And I watched a lot of Rescue Me.
Yeah, no, he was in there.
Was he?
Yeah, reoccurring roles.
I don't remember.
See,
he ate spring rolls.
Man, he doesn't have a name on here, but
Megan Fox's dad
doesn't have his. I think he was.
Yeah, he's Megan Fox's dad.
Yeah. No, he's not. Shut up.
He's not. Ben's
being a dick. So much taller than him.
Oddly enough, Michael J. Fox's height was a thing continuously through his career. I believe he wore risers a lot.
He was the original Tom Cruise.
I feel like, he was, honestly. Kind of got market corrected by Tom Cruise doing Risky Business. And then it's like, oh, this guy is too nice. He's too general. Now we got Smiley McGee. Christopher Lloyd. If you don't think of Back to the Future Doc Brown when you think of Christopher Lloyd, what do you think of?
Oh, fuck. I can't even imagine, dude. Like,
I can tell you right now, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead with Andy Garcia. If you haven't watched that movie, you should. I don't know why, but I love that movie. Is it the cameo of Jenny McCarthy? Maybe. It's probably Christopher Walken.
I've been spending time Googling Michael J. Fox in Rescue Me. His character is actually pretty great. He's like this homeless dude. And I don't know, he just lives on a couch.
No, I remember, I wasn't a huge Rescue Me fan, but I remember Michael J. Fox's character from Rescue Me, and I can't think of his name.
Was he in later seasons?
His name was Dwight, and he didn't come in until season 4. Which
that's probably why.
I don't think I watched
when
that
Tommy
far.
got together with Sheila, I kind of started falling off.
Dude, I just figured it out. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is the other Christopher Lloyd role.
Yeah,
I always think
that's what I would think of as well. Like for number 3, it's definitely the judge.
Yeah.
Yep. Russ is too young. All right. Leah Thompson.
Did you guys
How great is she in 1985 alternate? Just a great acting performance. I thought she could have used a lot more screen time.
You just wanted to see the boobies.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I can neither confirm nor deny. No, I thought those scenes were great. Like I mean, just the dichotomy of what his mom was, what he came back, saw what she could be, and then traveled back to the new future, and then this new mom and Biff, and it was, I mean, she acted it out great. All of it.
Agreed.
The innocent girl next door to the woman trading her wiles for the safety of her children. I mean, she covered all the bases.
I really like in number 3, she has a pretty great Irish accent and plays a pretty like strong prairie woman vibe. Also, Michael J. Fox is Seamus McFly. Really good in number 3. I don't think number 3 has a ton of the best stuff to it, but those are 2 of my favorite things from number 3.
I don't even remember number 3.
I've watched number 1 and number 2, and then remembering number 3, like how much of the previous 2 movies that they bring to a head in number 3, you know, for they're watching the Clint Eastwood movie.
La Josie Wales. Yeah, I thought that was actually like the most clever thing they did for 2 and 3 was to have that and the whole he got into a car wreck because somebody called him chicken, which leads me to ask, as far as movies that are pretty great go, is a linchpin of somebody's life being around being called chicken one of the worst plot devices ever? I think it might be. Are you seriously, you really can't get over being called chicken?
It was really stupid. But the build up and like how many times they do it in this, it was just like the by the final time they say it in the movie, you're just like, oh yeah, get them.
Yeah, but it was such a character plot. I mean, it was such a character plot, such a character arc, especially moving into number 3. And the closing sequence in number 3 when he backs away from the head-to-head car race and avoids the accident that they portrayed in this movie.
Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Right. I mean, so the other vehicle avoids the accident, but if he would have engaged in that drag race, he would have fulfilled the destiny that was pre-forecast in this movie number 2, because they talked about the accident.
Yep. But instead he changed it all up.
Yeah, you know, yeah, no, I mean, is it cheesy? Absolutely, but you know, again, we're dealing with toxic masculinity in the 80s and 90s. You know,
absolutely. Speaking of toxic,
men weren't allowed to back down.
Right.
So I don't know what it was about this movie and being just like silly and being able to get away with it, but it almost views like a cartoon. So the whole to me,
agreed.
The like, what are you, chicken? It's kind of like, did you call him a pig in The Lion King? and
That's
are you talking
great.
to me?
That's great. Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? Yeah, no, that's
They
great.
It's
call me
Mr. Pig.
Mr.
Mr.
Pig. That's a great shout out to
and
Mr. Tibbs.
And
Hey,
when it's on a cartoon, though, like, you don't think anything of it, but when there's real people involved, it's suddenly stupid. And I feel, for some reason, for me, this movie managed to still feel fun and silly and approachable without me going like, this movie's fucking dumb. In most movies that have real actors that do stuff like that, I just think they're stupid.
Again, I would say it's a tribute to Michael J. Fox, like his ability to convey that personal insecurity in that scene where he's in their home and he's having the conference call with the guy and he's like, "What are you, chicken?" And they do maybe it was scripting plus acting plus the cinematography. I think made it believable, right?
I think what really does it for me, that makes it like okay to be silly in this movie, and I'm probably jumping ahead because I'm going into the A's, it's Biff and just his whole villain with the like Total Recall skin just looks fucking crazy out of this world.
Yeah.
And his lips are so big and weird and he walks funny and just the way he talks and everything. It works for me.
Rich Biff is pretty cool.
Yeah, the rich Biff in particular, like, but old man Biff was great too. And they just both looked and acted so fake.
And I think
even like the skateboard Biff did it for me too.
And I think Biff and
that's awful. I think that's the worst part of the movie. Griff is dog shit.
That actor and what he brings to the franchise, I think, is incredibly underrated.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that
I always wish he had more of a career.
He really brings some serious continuity to this franchise.
His name is Tom Wilson. He is an actor. I once saw him in a stand-up showcase where he did some stand-up and then brought up a guitar. And I was like, so many people recognize me from the few movies I've done that they always come up to me and ask me questions. So I thought I'd write a song to answer all of them right now. And it's a whole song about all these, who's the nicest? Who's the biggest asshole? Gary Busey. He's got this really great song that he just does all these questions to that I thought was actually pretty brilliant.
I'd have to watch that.
Hey, not to sidetrack us, but did you guys hear about Gary Busey? He's been arrested.
Accused of some crazy shit. I don't doubt it. He's crazy now. He died once. His brain got destroyed.
He is crazy. Hey, all right. So, what's his name? Thomas.
You ever see the show? The show with the schlub who?
I'm with Busey.
I'm with Gary Busey.
Dude, it's called I'm with Busey.
Fuck.
There's this scene
I'm with Busey,
where they're walking down a road, and it's like a dirt road. Nobody else is there except the two of them and the cameraman. And Gary Busey just goes on this long tirade about how you need to stand clear of a horse's asshole because they can shit real hard and real fast. And he's like, it's like a 1.5 minute monologue about how thick a horse's butt muscle is. And the guy just keeps looking back at the camera the whole time like, I don't know what to do right now. It's really great.
Yeah. Who brought this up? Elizabeth Shue. What do you think of for her? I think there's a dividing line. I bet you I know Russ's answer and I know Joe's answer. Joe, what's your first thought when you think of Elizabeth Shue?
I got to look her up.
Oh, damn.
Well, mine.
Russ knows. What is it, Russ?
It's stupid, but it might be the one you pick for me. It's probably Jaws 3.
Oh, snap. No, I was thinking The Boys.
Oh, no. I have not watched enough of The Boys.
No,
I would really like
she's
to.
in the first season.
Adventures in Babysitting and Karate Kid.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
if you don't know her from Adventures in Babysitting, your life has not been full. That movie is an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah, no,
he's one of the.
I'm looking at her filmography. It's absolutely Adventures in Babysitting.
Period. Unless it's the Saint.
I mean, the Saint.
She's one of the main women in Jaws 3.
No, the Saint's horseshit. It's only Adventures in Babysitting.
So, wait, before we forget about Thomas Wilson, did you guys look at the current picture of him? Because
no, does it look like old Biff?
No, he looks just like Tim Robbins. And I thought for a second, I was like, did that guy do Shawshank Redemption? It's not him.
He sure did. No, he did the Pawshank Redemption, the all dog remake. And he played Hurdley, the tough as nails guard. James Token as Strickland, always enjoy him. Jeffrey Weissman, I couldn't help but get just a little caught up on the fact that this guy got hired to play George McFly, covered in prosthesis, and had to mimic another actor, and that's his role. This guy has been acting in bit parts since 1977.
Oof.
And it really makes you think, like, you might say there's 10 to 12 like big build actors or recognizable actors in a movie. There are also another 50 to 100 people that are hired just to be in the background that might get one or two speaking parts over their entire career, and they make a job out of it. They got to drive. They got to get makeup on. They got to show up and just stand around on a set all fucking day and have the same energy. And that's a job.
Yeah.
Dude, we've talked about extras multiple times, I think.
I know.
On the show.
I know. So I look at this guy and I'm like, holy shit, since 77. And the thing he is most known for is playing another actor playing this role. But he's still at it, fucking 12, 13, 20 something years later. Still, this is his job. It's just crazy to me.
What do you mean 12, 13, 30 years later?
No, I'm saying when he gets the role, it's 77, so it's 12 years later. He gets the role. That 12 years in, and your big break is like, I got I got screen time.
I have done nothing for 12 years except raise my kids. That's the only thing I've done for 12 years consistently. You could figure, fuck that.
No, you're right.
That's insane.
You hung out with me and Ben.
Consistently? I haven't seen this motherfucker in weeks.
There were some breaks.
All right, so on the show Extras, the two people who meet and have a relationship with each other because they meet while just playing extras who have sex, and like they do that whole scene of just like slowly doing it, and then they have a conversation, but the camera doesn't.
Yeah, no, that shit. That's funny. I've actually seen that.
And they're just like, so what are you doing tonight? And all this mundane stuff, but they're butt naked and like bumping into each other. I feel like that would be a really weird job that I could not do.
I mean, could you imagine showing up nonstop week after week after week for these interviews and these, screen tests and all that? And hey, great, we're going to cast you as extra number 104.
And at what point do you decide?
Will I get a credit?
This isn't good enough.
You're not even the guy that gets to ask that question.
Right.
I mean, you don't get to ask if I get a credit. Like, you're just like, hey.
No, you get an agent who's like, you want my guy? He's been in 18 other films that made money. You want my guy to grace your screen? He gets a credit at the end, and you pay him scale. All right, he'll be there.
It's like the guy Gary Vee that I know who talks about a lot, and he's like, look, you want to be in movies, you move to Hollywood. You want to do this, you do that. You want to do the other thing, you do that. And yeah, at a certain point, I couldn't even imagine trying to fight my way into Hollywood. I mean, like the people that are successful either were born into it or are incredibly gifted.
And the amount of rejection you have to sustain, it would be crushing.
Unprecedented. Ugh.
Makes me angry just thinking about it.
It would be humbling.
One more call out, Casey Samasko. I know I mentioned him earlier. He plays 3D, one of Biff's little gang. He's in Young Guns. Don't forget Young Guns.
Great movie.
That's an important movie. All right. Let's close the A. And what else you got?
We're going to pull out of the A. We're going to go to the D.
Yep. No, we already did the writer and the director.
Yeah, come on,
the
Joe.
two lines that I always say from this movie is ooh la la. Ooh la la. I don't know why. That got stuck in my head. And I think he took his wallet. I love the fourth time he says it where he's like, I think he took his wallet. Like, I know what's going on. Yeah, can't help but enjoy that actor. Don't know who he is, but his delivery of I think he took his wallet.
Could you imagine Marty McFly being able to knock you out by punching you once?
Sure.
No. Not gonna happen. That's when he takes his wallet. Bam. One hit.
Yeah, no, I mean I could see it from the position he was in and the wind up he had and hit the sweet spot. Yeah. Biff's out for the count.
No.
And the real question is, does Leah Thompson fall so deep from that one hit?
I mean, we have Marty McFly. So obviously she did.
You mean Calvin Klein or Marty McFly?
Both.
Because Calvin Klein shredded on that guitar solo.
Both technically. I mean, we're talking about time paradox and time travel.
Wait, talking about guitar solos, let's come back to Joe saying how this movie makes things easily digestible, which is freaking great. This movie introduces 2 time paradoxes at one time, probably the first of its kind to ever do that, and it just explains it in one sentence, and you're like, oh, I get it, and it's great. And then all these other movies come afterwards that try and make it so freaking complicated, and he's just like, hey, you can't let the original one see yourself or the one that traveled back in time see you, otherwise the world blows up. And he's like, okay. And then he just goes out there and does it, and it's great. I really like the explanation of every time he's like, oh wait, don't go out there, or be careful when you do, because you gotta watch out for this.
In popular,
and yet Doc walks right up to his counterpart. Doc is like, oh, whatever, I'm gonna go have a conversation with myself. Teehee. What are you saying, Joe?
From him.
So all of these concepts have existed long time in literature, in science fiction literature. I mean, all the way back to Isaac Asimov. Some of the grandfathers of science fiction have explored all of these things. I mean, H.G. Wells, with the time machine. I mean, the concept wasn't new. This was just the absolute best, most seamless adaptation to screen. I mean, even the Umbrella Academy. Have either of you watched the Umbrella Academy? Even the Umbrella Academy flirts
first
with
season. I think I saw the second season as well.
This same concept, and none of them, not one single adaptation of on-screen portrayal of time travel and paradox. Millennium is another movie that comes to mind. None of them.
It's a show, right?
No, it's a movie.
Show.
No, it's a movie.
Yeah,
it's a movie.
Millennium.
Yeah. It's old.
You mean the Falcon?
This motherfucker right here. I swear to God, dude.
Not the serial killer?
Without a doubt, this is the single most palatable version of time travel and paradox that's ever been produced.
Pretty easily digestible.
And this movie was really great because of that. And then I had to watch Tenet. And it was like, what the fuck?
Could this movie
Perfect
benefited from
example.
a Nolan remake?
Perfect example. Yeah. No,
is Tenet Back to the Future 4?
No. Good God, no.
But I thought Marty McFly was in there when he said, "I'm going through the turnstile, Sarge."
No.
No,
You're reaching.
I am.
You're reaching
For the stop button.
Ben, you picked a C+, you said?
Yeah. C+.
That means our average was a B. There you go, Joe. Suck on that.
Very